quickly before we jump into the video, I want to let you guys know about something you can pick up for free right now from the mail station if you guys have not done so already. We completed Tier 3 of the Days of Summer Community Challenge, so if you go over to the mail station, you'll end up seeing in there your armory credits, and if you have anything glitched like I do, maybe something you can't pick up, but then you also have the brand new beachside camo, which is a special camo available for all weapons that you get now as a part of that community challenge reward for the Days of Summer. It looks awesome to me. It is a little bit interesting on some variants. It kind of looks like almost an epic variant version of a camo in direct relation to epic and heroic weapon variants as well, because it's a little bit grittier than it looks like on the actual camo preview, but it is still a lot of fun to play around with. It's a cool looking design. It looks like you just have sand dunes on your weapon whenever you equip it, so it's always really cool to look at, and of course a free brand new camo. Who doesn't love free things? So that said, make sure you guys check that out in the mail station right now for you guys if you have not picked it up already. But that said, let's get right back into the regularly scheduled content. If you stuck around with World War II and you've been playing it day in and day out since launch, chances are you're excited for what DLC 4 may hold as the final map pack that we get during the main year of Call of Duty World War II. Now, who's to say we don't get a DLC 5 like we saw with Black Ops 3? Well, who knows, but I'm not personally anticipating it. We might still get some smaller support via updates in terms of events, new weapons, new calling cards and camos and stuff like that every so often, but I'm not expecting anything massive like a map pack expansion. That said, with DLC 4, the final one up on the deck, a lot of questions that I've been asked as of recently really revolve around one particular point. When is DLC 4 coming? Because again, for those of you guys that are excited, chances are you're looking forward to another fresh update for content, and it's a very valid point because we are right in the midst and middle of when we normally see DLC 4 launch for previous titles in the Call of Duty franchise. So that said, today we're going to be exploring and taking an educated guess, giving a theory on when we might end up seeing DLC 4 launch here for PlayStation 4 and then subsequently later on Xbox One and PC. So that said, let's just jump right into it. So first things first, there's a few things that going into this we need to set up as sort of boundaries and ground rules that Call of Duty is going to need to thread the needle between a few different things in order to release DLC 4 in terms of timing at least. So in that sense, we have to be conscious of the Blackout beta, potentially one final event in World War II, the official and worldwide launch of Black Ops 4 and the release there of that, and also what is the standard DLC 4 release schedule from years previously. So that said, we need to find a way to mix in a date, maybe two dates in with all of that in the next upcoming weeks to months here. So there's a lot on deck that we have to kind of work around with, but it is possible, and you'll see where we get to in just a second. But that said, how do you thread this all together? Firstly, what I will say is we're probably a lot closer than you may imagine, because starting out with that DLC 4 schedule, we can kind of set the boundaries and perimeters or guidelines in a sense of what we end up seeing. So DLC 4 schedules in the past have been with Infinite Warfare Retribution coming out on September 12th. Black Ops 3 Salvation came out on September 6th, Advanced Warfare's Reckoning came out on August 4th, and Ghost's Nemesis came out on August 5th. So again, there's our early and our late perimeters as well. So bearing that later portion in mind, we have 3, maybe 4 Tuesdays left until then for a release to happen. So that leaves us with the 21st, the 28th, the 4th, and maybe the 11th. But immediately we can whittle down 2 of those because I can almost guarantee you that we won't see anything coming at next Tuesday, the 21st, and I can guarantee you that we won't be seeing anything coming on the 11th because one, well, that first date, Activision and Call of Duty aren't going to just drop a DLC out of nowhere. They're going to promo it for normally about a week, and a week, if it were to happen on the 21st, would have already started. We would have ended up already having some marketing material drop probably yesterday for DLC 4, but having seen a little bit of that past happen already, well, we know that we're not getting anything at the moment. And then secondly, Activision and COD probably won't release a DLC the same time as the beta for Black Ops 4's Blackout mode. Logically, it makes no sense to split the player base like that, and it would ultimately hurt sales, so that leaves 2 Tuesdays on the table out of what we have readily available, the 28th as well as the 4th. So let's examine a little further. Whichever date we whittle it down to will have to be in compliance with a 30-day release window that happens before the launch of Black Ops 4, because again, I know there are memes out there that they're gonna drop the World War II support in favor of Black Ops 4 and completely screw over Xbox One and PC and not release that until after Black Ops 4, but realistically, I cannot imagine that would happen, because in that case, it hurts the bottom line of Activision. That hurts the bottom line of sales. So even if sales steadily decrease from map pack to map pack as the year goes on, it would not make sense to me to drop it completely in terms of support and release a map pack after Black Ops 4. So in that sense, let's assume that we're going to have that happen before the launch of Black Ops 4. So 30 days after August 28th would take us to September 27th. That's 2 weeks and 1 day before the launch of Black Ops 4. And then after that, our second date, if we were to theoretically take the DLC launching on September 4th, that would 30 days later take us to October 4th, just 8 days before the launch of Black Ops 4. So if you paid attention to the previous theory videos here up on the channel, or maybe even just the marketing calendar of COD as long as I have, you start to recognize the sweet spot for releases is normally 2 weeks between major releases. So that said, they're never going to cram things in really in that time window outside of, say, what we saw of the sort of anomalies as of recently with events within World War II having 1 week in between. Other than that, anything else they'd normally keep at least 2 weeks apart. So with that in mind, we might be able to whittle down another one of those original dates that we have on hand, and that might lead us to a solid date of August 28th, because that other date, September 4th, would lead us then 30 days later to October 4th, and that's not in that 2-week time frame. So with August 28th in mind, let's do some cross checks of that date to see how valid it might actually be. We talked about other things that Call of Duty is going to have to thread the needle on to make sure the release is not necessarily interrupting anything else. So let's start in-house in the family first. What about a final event? Would it be something that jeopardizes another event coming in World War II? Actually, no. Like we previously talked about in the theory about when the next event might be and the future of those, we talked about something that might even add more validity into a date of August 28th, because that proposed date is also when the Days of Summer ends, so we'd already be seeing a huge title update, so why not add in the possible last huge title update in the main year of World War II support? But with that said, with one event ending and another one starting, possibly shortly after DLC 4 drops, we'd end up seeing an event be able to bring the gap between Xbox One, PC, and PlayStation 4 players a little closer, because if an event happens after the launch of DLC 4 on PS4, that'll have enough time for an event to be live and be the tail end of that whenever Xbox One and PC have their launch. So everybody still gets to experience the DLC with a brand new event. So it actually might work out perfectly with that one. As for another thing it'll have to thread the needle on is the Blackout beta. Like we talked about, the marketing window is usually 2 weeks between releases. And if you take a look at it, that's just under 2 weeks. It would be 2 weeks if that normally released on a Tuesday, but for whatever reason, Blackout's beta is releasing on a Monday, the 10th, so that's something that it still falls in line with that relatively 2-week time frame. If you were to take the later date of the 4th, that wouldn't work out near as much because you're then under a week away. So in that sense, August 28th checks out on that regard also, and the final thing to take a look at in terms of checking off the list is that of the Black Ops 4 official release, which, as we mentioned, already does check out. It's something that it would be 2 weeks and 1 day before the release of Black Ops 4 that DLC would complete on Xbox One and PC as well. So there would be no real competing there, and it would give the adequate amount of time for the DLC hype to last about a week and then a week to really start heavily pushing Black Ops 4 at launch without really interfering with anything on Xbox One and PC. So in that sense, to me, the magic date seems to be August 28th. Now, of course, we could totally be wrong, and it might be something that might turn out to be a completely different date, and maybe even the furthest back we end up seeing. Maybe some of the things we assume are wrong. Maybe they will release DLC 4 after Black Ops 4 comes out for Xbox One and PC. Maybe we will end up seeing something happen where it does break that 2-week rule. Maybe it's something completely different. But that said, by logically analyzing what we have up on deck and the amount of time that we normally see in between everything, I think that August 28th might be a safe bet here with that. So that said, that is where I stand here at this. As it stands, I obviously couldn't tell you what is going to happen in DLC 4. I'd love to see some stuff push out to the Pacific Theater, maybe the Far East, get some cool things out in the Pacific fronts, but I don't know if that'll happen. One can hope though, so maybe we see it, maybe we don't. That'd be awesome, and there's of course so much you could end up doing map-wise, but also weaponry and all that kind of stuff. That'd be really cool to see, but as it stands, my guess is probably it's not gonna happen. We'll continue that European theater, but hopefully, man. That said though, I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think we hit the nail on the head here with this one? Do you think it's gonna be some other time? Whatever it may be, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Really wanna get your feedback here on this one and when you guys think it will happen as well. So that said, make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's get a little discussion going. And of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty World War II, DLC 4, Black Ops 4 contents, updates, news, information, all that good stuff. we got you covered here up on the channel. So if any of that interests you, make sure that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. And also, if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram as well, that link is down there for you guys to check out if you want to do that as well. With that said, thank you guys all so much for watching. Mine is an espresso. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully see DLC 4 soon. But until then, take care and peace.